Hi, John here. Folks, it's time for another brief real estate marketing message. And this will be really the last one I want to do for this year. And we'll take a little break. So we're in Christmas week. And so I certainly, before I even get started, want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas for you and your family. It's been a challenging year. But we have so much to look forward to, I think, next year that will be positive for all of us. And that's not just talking real estate. So I may sound like a broken record to some of you who have listened to me for this past year, but that's where we are when we are talking about how vibrant, how dynamic, and how surprising the real estate market has really been this year. So despite the pandemic, that we've been in. Let me give you some facts, and I'll keep them brief and to the point. But here's where we're driving the point home, not just for our market, for the United States, for our economy. Real estate has been the bright point and will continue to be so unless someone does something to mess it up, and I don't see that happening. So we have seen a lot happen this year in pricing and supply and demand, and different people have different opinions, but here's some thoughts that I haven't heard many people talk about. Why are we having such a shortage in our housing in this country? Reason number one, from 2007 to 2016, our country has had a 31% increase in the number of single-family homes that have gone to rental. Investors, yes, but also going back into the recession, a lot of individuals, instead of losing their home in foreclosure if they had to downsize or move for some reason, they might have chosen to rent their property. Some of them may still be renting because it turned out to be a very good market once we came out of the recession. So regardless why or where, 30% of the homes in our country went rental instead of being available for sale during that 10-year plus period. And so a lot of those homes are still on the market for rent. The home tenure. How long are people staying in their homes? Folks, when I bought my first home back in the 70s, the average at that time was about 3 to 4 years. And we were moving because of kids. We were moving because of jobs. We were moving because we wanted to. It was just totally different. Now, that's not the case. In 2019, of the owner-occupied homes in our country that sold in 2019, the average tenure that the owners had been in the home was 8.3 years. Pardon me. I see that figure jumping dramatically over the next 5 years. Why? Because we have historic interest rate figures, and people aren't going to want to give up that interest rate. And so they're also looking at buying homes today that will fit their needs better than what they may have already been in for housing, especially with all the things that have been seen over the past year. Kids at home, different circumstances, we're working from home, whatever it might be. So I see people holding on to their homes for even longer as we go forward than the 8+ years that we saw last year. And here's a fact that no one's really talking about. In our country, this is amazing, over 50% of the owner-occupied homes, meaning homeowners, not rentals, over 50% of the homes in our country were built before 1980. So that means they are 40+ years old. Most of those homes are going to need to be remodeled substantially to meet demands and needs that we have today, from energy to just what we want out of a home. So we have a lot of issues there with homes that may or may not be sellable to a lot of the people wanting to purchase today without major work being done, and those sellers may or may not financially or physically care to get involved with those sort of repairs. So a homeowner is going to have the ability to remodel those homes and be able to put them on the market to where the masses will accept them. So what are options? In some cases, some of those homes may be torn down and replaced. We call that backfilling, where you tear down a home, you go back in and you redevelop an area and you build newer homes. You think those are going to be cheaper? Hope not, because they won't be, more than likely. So what's the snapshot now? I think it's important, for us to just hit a couple of points. You don't know, other than what you hear on the news, that there are a lot of sales, there's inventory shortage and all this, but I'm going to give you some real quick numbers. This is amazing. Back during the recession, as we were coming out of it and growing, we were selling 50 to 60,000 homes a year, and we were just unbelievably happy with all those homes being available and being sold. Today, this year in North Texas, we will average more than 10,000 homes sold per month. Folks, we've been under a pandemic event like this world has never seen. Yet we have sold over 10,000 homes just in North Texas. So that's with a 7% increase in housing cost over last year. It also is with a 22% lower inventory of available homes than what we had last year. So how does that work? The house comes on the market and it's gone. So there's no inventory. So our inventory is lower, our prices are up, yet we have had more buyers come to the table than ever before and purchase over 10,000 homes a month right here in our backyard. So there's another important point as well, and with prices increasing 7% over last year, our mortgage rates, though, have now dropped under 3%. This last week, 2.67% as an average 30-year mortgage. Folks, never have we seen rates like this. That's offsetting the increases we have seen in the housing. And so your purchasing power, if you're looking to purchase, is offsetting the price increase. Your purchasing power is over 10% higher than it was just last year, and we've had a 7% increase in pricing from last year. So you still have an advantage that you can buy more than what the new cost of that home is today compared to last year. What's it all mean? It's the best of times. It's great perks, two big perks. One, for buyers, mortgage rates. I'm sorry, that's it. It's unbelievable. If you can find a way to purchase in the next year or so, we will have some of the lowest mortgage rates for your home ownership this country has ever seen. For sellers, and by the way, you right now, this year, can afford 35% more cost in a home than you could last year with our interest rates. That is unbelievable. So if you could afford a $200,000 home last year, you could afford possibly a $270,000 home this year. Okay. The second perk for the second group, sellers. Folks, if you have looked at your home, if you have understood where some of its shortcomings are for today's needs, so if you have an opportunity to work from home, whatever it may be, we're reassessing all of us. If we've been renting, if we own, what's the best housing choice for us going forward? So as a seller, there's no inventory. You will get the fastest sale and the most profit, as we've seen in a long time for sellers. Yes, if you sell, you may then become a buyer. And so on and on and on that it goes. Next year is going to be a great year. It's going to be a great year for a lot of reasons for our country. But in real estate, you are not going to see a housing crash. You're not going to see some of these things that these people are talking about with all the foreclosures disrupting the positive things we've got going on in the housing market. Are some homes going to be lost to foreclosure? Unfortunately, they may. And those homes will be purchased very, very quickly, and they are not going to be fire sales, I guarantee you. Okay? There are too many people lined up to buy homes. That's my point. That's all I wanted to share as we wrap up this year, other than blessings to you and your family. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and let's all look for the bright spot in next year, and let's set the negative things we've seen this year behind us. I'm ready. I hope you are too. So until next year, take care. John Cowan with Ultra Realty of Texas. Thank you.